Alright, so we have a super fun video today. Like, I am just absolutely excited about this one. As y'all can tell, it's the Viper 8K, right? I have been testing this product since it came out, which is probably about 2 months ago. You guys are like, come on, Techne, we already know about that. We've already heard about that plenty, you know what I mean? And sure, but this is a straight up user review. Like, I have been using this mouse as my daily mouse, mainly Call of Duty right there, you know what I mean? And I have been grinding. I was like, when it first came out, I was like, man, should I review and just jump on hype views? That might be good for the channel. I was like, nah, this really isn't a product. We've covered the Viper. We all know about the Viper, whether it be the regular, the 8K, the Ultimate, the Mini. I was like, I can't go about that, right? I can't just jump on hype views. I really want to get hands-on, dive into this product, grind with it, and really figure out, is it beneficial going with that 8K? Are you gonna notice a difference? Is it gonna make your gameplay that better? Is it worth the price difference? Going from the regular Viper to the 8K, which is like, I believe 30 bucks. But to top it all off, this makes me even more giddy right here. Why I'm so excited about this video is I have the best collab ever right here, in my honest opinion, right? Us as YouTubers, we usually want to collab with bigger YouTubers, right? Shine a little light on their channels, get a little bit of growth, a little self-promotion. That's cool and all. But I think this is, again, talking about such a product that we're testing and grinding at here. I actually teamed up with one of our viewers, Just Crook. Check him out on Twitter. All of his links right down in the description. And this guy's just, I'm telling you, man, like I made a digi-friend. Like, it's so awesome, you know? It's so cool. Because we talk like all the time on Twitter now, just talking products, talking gaming. What are we making? What are we using, you know? And it's a blast. It really is, you know? So after a while, I asked him, I said, hey, man, you know what? You're like into these peripherals just like me. Would you mind being in this video with me about the Viper 8K? Because this product's really messing with my head. You know, I've used the Viper enough. You all know I don't like the Viper. But the 8K, it was hitting a little different. And I asked him, I said, hey man, I'd appreciate if you be in this video with me. You know, scoop up an 8K, you know, test it out. Let me know what you think. So again, we got a collab with one of our viewers, Just Crook right here. So we're gonna hear his input as well. What we're gonna start off with is just the basics about the Viper, shape, feel, build, basic stuff right there. But then we're gonna dive in and really talk about that 8K. Again, is it beneficial for you? So again, just sit back, let's hang out, grab yourself a coffee or something. Let's have fun with this video here. All right, so how this video is gonna go, again, is gonna be me and Just Crook right here. I'll give you my intake, then we'll swing it over to Just Crook and he'll give us his intake, kind of wrap it up right there. But again, number one, what I wanna talk about is the shape and dimensions of the Viper 8K. And like I stated, a lot of yous know, I don't like the Viper. In general, just a shape. It's a smaller shape. It's a little bit of a smaller mouse, right on that borderline of too small for me. You know what I mean? The hump, clearly in the middle, nothing in the back, so it's all day, fingertip, maybe a little bit of claw, no palm, you know, and the side buttons. You all know I can't stand the side buttons on any of the Vipers, whether it be the Ultimate or the regular Viper. As you can see, I got little lizard skins cut out there, and it made the side buttons usable, right? So I had to do that. Right, so again, the mouse is smaller. It definitely is for my usual use, but with this extensive time with it here, I got used to it. I threw it into that, again, kind of clawish, brought it back into my palm just a pinch, enough for it to be passable for me. And I loved it. I had a great time with it, honestly, which is shocking because I've touched on the Viper multiple times, comparison, standalone reviews, and I never really recommended it. Yeah, it's a great mouse. Right, talking about the build, it's solid. There's no creaking, there's no cranking, there's no flexing. It's a solid built product right here. But again, it was always a little bit small for me, but weirdly and shockingly, I really got used to it during this session.
What's going on, everybody? So to give my thoughts on the overall feel of the Razer Viper 8K, I think it's an extremely safe mouse. I think it will support a lot of different grip sizes, a lot of different hand sizes. It's got these nice textured grips on both sides. Very easy to hold. Pretty good coating. I don't notice any issues there. Mouse 1 and 2 have these comfortable curves in them. I really enjoy when mice add that. The side buttons aren't bad. Very crisp. The only thing I don't really enjoy is they are extremely flush with the side. Kind of awkward. The Techne put little grips on each one to bump them out a little. I usually don't like mice with buttons on the right side. I accidentally click them sometimes. I don't notice that on this mouse, so that's good there. Scroll wheel, pretty good. A little stiff for my liking, but I got used to it. The cable is okay. It's not the best, it's not the worst. It's manageable in a bungee. Mouse feet, nice, rounded, works well on any mouse pad I use. Usually I use slower control pads, and I don't have any issue with this. I mained this mouse for Techne for a couple weeks to give a good review on it. Took me a little bit to get used to because it's not my preferred shape. I usually like my mice with a little bit more of a hump.
All right, so as far as that brief just rundown as far as shape, dimensions, and feel build of the mouse right there, I believe me and just Crook were on the same page, right? A little bit of a smaller mouse, not usually what we primarily use as our mains, but again, once you give it some serious time and just dedicate that time to it, it does work out for you. And again, it's not too bad if you give it a chance. But now let's go on and get into the juicy stuff, what we all want to hear about. That is the 8K, the 8K polling rate. And believe it or not, it's really cool since, again, we're talking about the Viper Ultimate here. I actually tested quite a few other 8K mice. The Corsair Saber RGB Pros 8K, and then what's the other one? That EVGA mouse. Oh, let's not even remember that mouse. It was horrible, right? The number one question you're asking, is it beneficial? Are you gonna notice a difference? And there's a lot that goes into that, right? Now we can sit here all day long and pull up marketing material, right? From Razer. I received it, everybody else received it. You can see it in other videos, you can see it in a lot of other reviews. The screenshots from Razer's marketing material are showing the little dots of your mouse cursor, right? With big spaces and little spaces with the 8K. That's kind of like, oh wow, man, my mouse is gonna be that much more responsive. And I think you should not refer to that. There's a lot of other things you need to refer to, right? Number one, your monitor. Through Razer, I was told that you need at least a 144 hertz monitor. You can read other reviews, watch other reviews. People say you need a 360 hertz monitor. Again, coming from Razer, coming from Corsair, minimum requirement is 144 hertz monitor to really notice that difference, right? So that's what I use. I use a 144 hertz monitor. I also bought a 240 hertz monitor just to test this mouse. LG 240 hertz monitor. I actually reviewed it recently. Great monitor. I can't game on 1080p though. But anyways, that was 1080p 240 hertz. My primary is 144 hertz at 1440p. Just Crook, he uses 240 hertz at 1080p. So again, we got a couple variations here to really test on. But again, my point here is we can look at marketing material all day long and be like, oh man, it looks amazing. Is it really that good? Let me go buy it right now. But you really got to truly test it and really give it that time. When I say give it that time, like me, for example, I play Call of Duty, lots of Call of Duty. And I use the Viper 8K primarily as Call of Duty. My main mouse is always ZA12B. 12B or 13B? I believe 12B, you know what I mean? So that's my primary mouse right there. Not even talking shape here. We're just talking 1,000 polling rate to 8,000 polling rate, right? And there's really a lot that's gonna play into that to take advantage of that 8,000 polling rate. Again, your monitor, your processor, your graphics card. By the way, I'm using an i9 3080. Crook's using an i7, I believe 2080, if I'm thinking right. You know, and then again, all that stuff. What's running in the background of your PC? Are you streaming, right? Do you have videos running? You got Discord running? You got security software? Do you have Synapse running? There's a lot that goes into play to really take advantage of that. And you can go all day long, again, look at marketing material and say, hey, it's better, let me get it. Right? You can load up software, which I did as far as polling rate checks on your mouse right there. And I did test that, right? But still, that's gonna flash up a number. Yeah, it's gonna go up to that 8,000, you know, wherever right around there, depending on what your mouse is doing, what's going on in the background of your PC. You know what I mean? And then that's what it's gonna perform for you. But again, looking at numbers, looking at marketing materials, not gonna justify it really. It's in-hand experience. And that's what I wanna talk about here is my use and then Crook's use of actually using the 8K. All right, so let's go and talk about my use of the 8K here. Again, my primary game, 99% of the time when I'm playing on PC as far as a first-person shooter is Call of Duty. I also play Insurgency Sandstorm. I've been dabbling with a little bit of Fortnite lately. And then just a couple other story games. There's a little bit of Doom, a little bit of Wolfenstein in the background, just dabbling with some Xbox Game Pass on the PC, you know? So again, we're testing with quite a few different games. But cutting to the chase, where I noticed the biggest difference is Call of Duty, right? And there's multiple things we can really put into this situation. Why am I noticing a difference in Call of Duty? Because I play it so much. I'm so used to the performance with regular mouse and I can see the difference. You know what I mean? Is it because it's a faster game? Is it because it's a more demanding game than any of the other ones right there? I'm not too sure about that. I'm really not. But I can tell you, clear as day, Fortnite, you're running around all over, right? Looting, you might get a kill here and there, you know? Call of Duty, bam, 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 you're in the action. I guess depending on how you play. Story game, cut scenes, you know, a little scene here, a little scene there, then you're at it. I didn't notice a difference. Fortnite, didn't notice a difference. Call of Duty, I noticed a difference. I want to say it's mild, but it's noticeable enough to make me want to use the Viper AK. I can throw up some gameplay clips right here, and again, it's not going to justify it until it's actually in your hand. When I'm using the Viper AK, and I play fast-paced Call of Duty, I'm not hiding back there sniping, I'm running to the next one, you know? And what I noticed the advantage is I'm winning that battle when it's face-to-face. You cut that corner, bam, that guy's there, I'm winning the battle. You know what I mean? When you get that face-to-face instant, you see he sees me, I see him. It's like a draw, old Western draw, you know what I mean? That was my reenactment right there. But anyways, that's what it's like. That's really what it's like, especially with Call of Duty. I noticed that a lot, right? Bam, cut that corner, I'm winning. I'm winning the draw right there, you know? And that made it awesome because, again, with my style of Call of Duty, that came into play and really just made the gameplay that much more enjoyable, made me win, made my scores a little bit better, you know what I mean? Is it night and day? I would say no. Is it beneficial? I would say yes. Is it something that's like I need when I play? No, I wouldn't go that far, you know what I mean? But yeah, it was beneficial, it was noticeable, and it was really awesome in those situations with those instant, you know, face-to-face draws.
So I want to talk about the main feature of this mouse and kind of the main selling point of this mouse, which is that 8,000 polling rate. I've been playing shooters on PC for all 20 years now. I have used a lot of different mice. I always have my polling rate set to 1,000 nowadays on all my mains. And I want to talk about how I played with this one being 8,000. I didn't see a dramatic skill increase. Really, I didn't notice an increase at all in my main games, which are, you know, CounterStrike. I play some Valorant. I would not switch my main mice to use this one for that extra 7,000 polling rate. One game that I will say this mouse felt very good on, very responsive. My tracking was really good. I felt like I was winning a lot more gunfights, was Call of Duty. I can't explain it. I don't know if it's in my head. I don't know if it's that, you know, 8K polling rate. But this mouse was extremely fun on Call of Duty, and I definitely will foresee myself playing with this mouse more in the future on that game. So, do I think you need to rush out and buy an 8,000 polling rate Viper if you have a regular Viper or any 500, 1,000 polling rate mouse? No, I don't think right now you need to. I do think eventually higher polling rates will be a factor in PC gaming, but right now I don't foresee it being something you need to rush out and do. So that's just my take on the 8,000 polling rate.
Now, as we just heard from Just Crook as well, seems like he had the same type of situation as me, talking about him playing CounterStrike. CounterStrike, at least what I know about CounterStrike, I don't play it much, but it's a little, I want to say it's slow paced, but it's more like medium paced right there. But even in that kind of situation, kind of Fortnite-ish and stuff, you know what I mean? You don't really notice that because you're waiting for your target. Bam, you're going to get your target, keep going, and get your next target. Rather with Call of Duty, again, it's a demanding game as far as graphically, right? And then it's constant, right? Constant right here. A lot going on, you know, as far as action and then again within the scene. And with him stating that's where he noticed a difference as well, I come to the conclusion of it's a lot. Like, how much demand is going on your PC? Is that going to make, you know, as far as drag on your mouse with the AK being able to back it up with that high polling rate? I think that's coming into play if you follow me there, right? High demanding game, taking a lot of your processing power, graphics power, and you got the 8,000 polling rate, that's still going to back it up. Because your polling rate goes up and down, even on a 1,000 hertz mouse, even on the 8K. You know what I mean? It's up and down all over the place. But again, with it, even, say if it's just staying at 4,000, that's still going to be more than 1,000 polling rate mouse dropping down to 700, right? And that's where you're going to notice those differences. So look at it that way. What game are you playing? How are you playing that game? How demanding is that game? And that's where you're going to get right there. And look at it that way. Like, you got 1,000 polling rate mouse that is going to drop. 500, 700, whatever it may be. You know, you got an 8,000 polling rate mouse. It's going to drop, right? Whether it be 7,000, if it drops to 4,000, it's still more beneficial and you're going to get the higher polling rate than that 1,000 polling rate mouse. And that's where I put it as far as a demanding game. And that's where I notice a difference. Even talking about me gaming on 240 hertz 1080p. I didn't notice much of a difference gaming 240 hertz 1080p on Call of Duty with the 8K. I personally did not. I don't game at 1080p, not on my TVs, not on my PCs. I just don't. I game at 1440p or 4K. And in my situation, when I jumped up to that 1440p, going monitor to monitor, same game, going round to round, I noticed a noticeable difference on that 1440p. Again, talking about more demanding right there and still getting the performance out of the 8K. If that makes sense right there, right? So you got a lot going on here. You got the 8K backing you up. If you can follow me, I'm almost losing myself right here, you know? But again, I did notice a difference in that situation. Now, one other thing I want to touch on before we wrap up our discussion about 8K polling rate or the Viper 8K. It's supposed to be a Viper review and we just rambled on about 8K, you know what I mean? But anyways, one other thing you've probably noticed out there if you're reading on the mouse, watching other reviews, a lot of people are saying there's issues as far as the 8K polling rate with certain games or certain PCs, crashes, freezes, lagging, stuff like that, you know what I mean? Let me tell you my situation with mainly the Viper 8K, talking about using the 8,000 polling rate. I did have some issues with the Viper, mainly playing Fortnite. It happened about 3 times when I had the 8K active, right? I could be using a different mouse mid-game and then switch out, and then following the rounds, I would have issues with the 8K. Not every round, not constantly, but it would freeze up my game. Is that the 8K? I don't know. It's crazy that it happened only when I was using the 8K, the Viper 8K, and no other mouse. So can we put the blame right there? I'm gonna, because it didn't happen with anything else in the same situation, you know what I mean? What was making that happen? I don't know. I honestly don't know. One thing I can tell you, even going back to Call of Duty, I had some issues with the Viper 8K when I had Synapse open. Usually on my Razer products, pretty much all of my Razer products, I don't use Synapse. Disable the RGB and I close it out. Synapse is a data hogger, a memory hogger right there, you know? So I don't use it. I don't like it being active in the background. When I did try it in my testing, I left Synapse open, playing Call of Duty, had my saved RGB going right there, and Call of Duty froze on me, right? So I tested that a couple times, had it off, had it on, and every now and then it would happen. It would freeze when it was on. Never happened when it was off, but when Synapse was open, every now and then Call of Duty would freeze. Again, it's not consistent like bam, 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 every round in a row with Synapse on, it's freezing. So again, it's kind of like, what's going on? Where's the communication over here? What's happening? I can narrow it down to, yeah, it's something with the 8K in Synapse. You know, it's something with the 8K in Fortnite. I don't know, again, the details inside. I'm not diving into the computer seeing all this, but I did have some issues right there. And why I bring it up, talking about that, is it's crazy. Talking about the Corsair Saber RGB Pro 8K. I didn't have any issues with this. Gaming on Call of Duty, Fortnite, any game. No issues. I can have IQ software open, IQ software closed, RGB profiles saved. Never had any issues. So with the 8K, you know, polling rate being something fresh and new, I think it's within the product, not within your PC, is what I'm kind of, with my research here, my studies, right? I'm kind of breaking it down to that. It's not so much what's going on in your PC. Yeah, that plays a big role. You don't want 10 different apps running in the background, right? But as far as performance and hiccups, lags, freezes, I think that's something, because again, I had issues with the Viper 8K, not with the Saber at 8K right here. Me personally. Someone else may be different with your PC. So again, there's so much that goes into these, right? What's going on in your PC? What's going on in your game, right? On my situation, I had a couple of issues with the Viper 8K and not the 8,000 polling rate Corsair Saber. So after all that being said, with my ramble right there, talking about 8,000 polling rate with the Viper, the Saber, or whatever, should you go off and buy one? Should you upgrade? The questions we asked in the beginning, right? Is it worth that price increase? Talking $30 difference from the regular Viper to the 8K Viper. Again, that's up to you. I can't sit here and say, hey, go buy the 8K right now. It's world changing. It's the best thing ever in peripherals. You know what I mean? I can't say that. What I would say is I'd have a discussion with you. And down in the comments, hey, let's spark it up if you want. Hit me up on Twitter at Techne1. Glad to talk shop. You know what I mean? I love it. You can be like me and you're going to be going to these other websites. Right here. The 8,000 polling rate makes a tremendous difference in game. What? You know what? Let's just close this stinking thing. Tremendous difference in game. Like, you can read baloney like that all day long. How is it making a tremendous difference in game? What are you gaming? How are you gaming? What are you using? That's what I want to hear. And that's what I wanted to share with you today. That's why I kind of just rambled a whole lot in this video. I wanted this to be more like, heck, this is almost like a Techne Talks episode, right? You know? And that's where I put this. Do I like the Viper AK or 8,000 polling rate in any product? Yeah, in a mouse. I notice a difference in Call of Duty. I don't notice a difference in anything else, you know? Were there some performance hiccups? Yeah, on the Viper AK, not on the Saber. Is it technology that I think needs a little bit of working out and kind of tweaking? Yeah. I love seeing fresh new technology, and that's what we have here, and I think it's awesome, and I can't wait to see where it goes. We're going to see probably every mouse have an 8K. We see a lot of keyboards having it. It's a different topic over there, you know, but as far as mice, I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of that. Put it this way, closing it out. If you play a very aggressive, fast-paced, in-your-face game, get an 8K. I think you're going to notice a difference right there. If you're using at least a 144 Hz monitor and you got something that can take the demand, you want your PC to be able to handle the demand of your game, so you're going to be able to notice the demand of the 8K polling rate backing up that demand of the game. If that makes sense right there, right? Peanut butter and jelly, right? You're going to need that bread. I'm so confused right now. I am just absolutely lost. Now we're talking about peanut butter and stinking jelly. But anyways, this was such a fun video, guys. It was just a talk. Again, I've been testing it for so long. I wanted to just hang out with you guys and talk about it. I feel like that's what we did here. I probably rambled on a little bit much, you know what I mean? And having Just Crook on here, one of our viewers, like, I can't thank him enough, guys. Like, it is so cool. It's just like, wow. I mean, what a stinking blast.
I want to thank the Techne for having me be part of this video. It was an honor when he asked me to do it. I've never done a mouse review before, so it was pretty fun. It was pretty exciting. Final thoughts on this mouse: durable, responsive, nice shape, nice feel. Don't think you need to rush out and buy an 8,000 polling rate mouse, except if you're going to play Call of Duty, because apparently it's extremely good on that game. Anyways, thanks for having me be part of this video. See ya.
But anyways, thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out with me and Just Crook today, talking 8K polling rate, Viper 8K, Saber 8K, whatever 8K right here. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope we were able to help you out at all if you're looking into getting an 8,000 polling rate mouse or, again, the Viper 8K. And I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for some future tech videos. Hey, hope to catch you in the next one. Bye now.